Welcome, Michael Griffiths here from the Business Connectors. Great to have you all on this episode. I'm here with Geraldine Mockler from the Lean Thinking Company, and I'll introduce Geraldine very shortly. Hopefully you've been enjoying some of our guests. We've had some great guests over the last few months and sharing some great insights and some great tips in terms of what they're doing. And no different today with Geraldine. You've got some exciting things going on that we'll get to very shortly. But firstly, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you managed to get yourself to the Lean Thinking Company.
Okay. Hi everybody. As Michael said, my name is Geraldine Mockler. As you can probably tell from the accent, I'm from the UK, and I've been working with organisations across the globe for the last 20 odd years doing management consultancy work, managing major change programs. My background was originally from McDonald's, so I have a lot of understanding of how systems work in organisations. That was my background, but I also have a great passion for sport as well. So I've got a mix of experience that includes operational management, working with organisations from a consulting perspective, but also applying the principles of how you create success in sport in business. And that, I suppose, is where that's led me to the Lean Thinking Company, because the Lean Thinking Company is all about making the most out of what you have in an organisation to achieve the results you're looking for. And that organisation could be a sporting organisation, or it could be a sports team, or it could be a physical organisation in the business world. And the other factor, I suppose I should just add in, which makes me a little bit unique, is that I am also a psychologist. So I have a unique set of skills which take me down the road of being able to understand sport, understand organisations, and also understand how that all fits together in relation to motivating people.
Yeah, brilliant. So the Lean Thinking Company has a great platform called IGoals. Tell us a little bit more about IGoals, who could use IGoals, and what the IGoals platform actually does.
Okay. Well, sometimes in organisations, Michael, there's often situations where people are wanting to work together as a team, but they have difficulties for one reason or another. Well, that's where the IGoals platform comes in. It's an integrated approach to managing people, which is the most important thing, and having the right conversations with people at the right time to ensure that they are achieving the things that they want to achieve, but also that the organisation needs to achieve. And so that's the first point of reference from IGoals. It's also an online platform, so it's accessible 24 hours a day. So it enables managers to have that connection with their people at any time, and also the visibility, therefore, of what's happening with people. So it's a great tool for managers to use, whether it be a sports coach, whether it be a leader in an organisation. They can see immediately how people are tracking. But the other important thing about it, which is what I absolutely love about it, is the fact that you see how people are feeling about what you're asking them to achieve. 9 times out of 10, the reason why people don't get things done is not because they don't want to do them, but something got in the way.
Yep.
And often we don't know what gets in the way, whether it's a personal issue or emotional issue. And so that's what IGoals does. It provides that platform. And the feedback we've had, particularly from sports coaches with that one, is that that's what they find is the difference. They've suddenly realised they actually know how to coach now, much as they had the skills before, but they've now got the missing piece, which was how was somebody feeling?
Yep.
And therefore, in between when I last saw them to when I now see them, what was it that changed things and how they should achieve things?
So it really is helping with people management.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, and as you're just talking there, I'm sure as a business owner, and especially if you're listening right now and you're a coach, you're a consultant, you're actually working with other people,
Yep.
What a great platform to be able to monitor what's going on away from the conversations which you have one-on-one with people
Yep.
for the rest of the week or the rest of the month.
Absolutely.
Where you both are online, you've got your client, your person that you're working with, being able to be able to access that, be able to put how they're feeling, be able to see and monitor their goals, and you can log on from wherever you are in the world
Yep.
to be able to track that and help them achieve that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
absolutely fantastic. So
Yeah.
really, as I'm continuing to sort of just think about this, there really ain't too many organisations
No.
or industries which this wouldn't help.
Absolutely not. Look, I think that's the again the thing that I love about it is when people ask me where does this apply, my answer is if there's a group of people who have a common goal, there is an opportunity for IGoals to support them.
Yeah.
It's just a case of how do you set it up to ensure that those things become visible, and how do you set it up so they're trackable, and then how do you ensure that people are having the right conversations about what is coming out of those inputs that are going in.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's the, so whether it's a sports coach, whether it's an organisation who manage other people. I go back to my McDonald's days, and I used to have to make phone calls, to quite a number of stores to find out information. If I had have had this in those days, that information would have been in front of me first thing in the morning, every morning, and it would have made my life so much easier.
Yeah, true. So why do you think it is that, from a manager's point of view or from a team's point of view, that they tend to fail at achieving goals? What's just a general reason?
Look, I think it's an interesting question. I think the biggest thing is people being able to see what each other are working on. 9 times out of 10, when I go into organisations and they actually talk to me about the things they're doing, what I hear is that people are actually trying to do the right thing, but what they're not aware of is that somebody else further down the corridor could either be working on the same thing or something so similar that they're actually creating duplication of effort for themselves. And I think that's often the biggest problem, is getting people together and getting people to understand what they're doing versus what somebody else is doing, and how do those things interact, and so therefore make sure you don't kind of overkill the situation, or making sure if they're completely independent, how do you keep working on them separately, but understanding how you're tracking against those things.
Yeah, brilliant.
So that's the biggest thing that I find, just that whole communication.
Yep, great. So knowing that as the problem, what's one piece of advice or one tip that you could give the teams and the managers and the people who have to run this? What's one tip you could give them to help them?
Yeah, I think the biggest tip I would give anybody, and I'm guilty of it myself, is take the time to find things out, and take the time to find that information out when you've got the time to do it. Don't think, in 2 weeks' time, when I've given somebody out a task, that they'll come back and tell me it's done or not done. That's not the time to find out that it's not done. So I think it's taking the time to know that your people know what they're doing, and secondly, then making sure that you follow up appropriately to make it happen. It sounds like common sense, but I think, certainly in my experience, that's the time when those kinds of things can get through the net, is if you're not careful when you're not making the time up front.
Yeah, brilliant, great piece of advice. So you're also a bit of a networker, a bit of a connector.
Yes.
What's, for our listeners out there who follow the Business Connector, we always get our guests to give one tip around what would you suggest to someone who's just going out and starting networking? Okay,
my biggest piece of advice is keep your networks open. Keep in contact with those people who you know, respect and like you. I think that's the most important thing I've found in my business life, is that it doesn't matter whether I've come from the UK and I'm here, and Sydney is probably one of the greatest places to network in the world that I've certainly found, is that keep your connections open, because those are the people who will assist you to create your relationships and ensure that you've got a continual flow of work. That's my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah, brilliant, fantastic, great. So make sure that you connect also with Geraldine. I've seen Geraldine on LinkedIn, so go find her on there, connect with her, because Geraldine also has a great network which she's more than happy to be able to help you and connect you to people who you would like to be connected to. So as with all our guests, make sure that you're using them as a bit of a resource also. Also, you're interested in IGoals, then how can they get in touch with you? What's the easiest way to get in touch with you about IGoals?
Okay, well, my email address is gmockler@leanthinkingco.com, or if they just link up with me on LinkedIn, I can immediately kind of pass them through to whoever, whether it be myself or depending on where people are, that we would then get in touch with people.
Yeah,
so by all means email me, but I suppose LinkedIn is probably the easiest way, because it's
Yep, fantastic, and they can send a message from there, so that's great. Very good. Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
The Lean Thinking Company and IGoals really has this opportunity to really revolutionise the way people can work together, and it's very exciting, and I know already, even though it's so young, there's already a lot of success out there with people who are using it, which is fantastic to be able to hear also. Thank you for joining us today on the Business Connectors. Really look forward to seeing you at an event that we've got coming up shortly. You can always find them out from our Village Entrepreneur TV homepage, and until next time, enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you.